No, this is my 1955 Royal Enfield 500 Bullet, which with some help from my father about over 10 years ago, we rebuilt from a wreck into this greenlaner you see here, which obviously needs a good bit of tidying up because it spent quite a few years in the shed doing nothing, unfortunately, and it's looking a bit sorry for itself again. But I dug it out of the shed yesterday and it started up fairly easy, and I did actually have a short local ride on it, and then I decided today that I do the Bantam Hill circuit, and as we've seen, my first attempt failed miserably. We had a fouled spark plug and a blocked pilot passageway, which I dealt with, and then it seems to be quite happy with life because we've obviously seen that it did the trip on the second attempt quite well. And what can I tell everybody about this? It's not an original matching engine and frame bike, but the engine and the frame are from 1955 and the numbers are about 200 apart, so they were pretty close. It's a Bitzer, which I bought on eBay as a rusty wreck, and I got it very cheap actually, and I think it must have been, perhaps people thought it was a really rotten Indian bullet, but the mag dyno that was on it gave it away straight away to me, as well as the primary chain case. But it's surprising how many people seem to get them all mixed up. But this is a genuine mid-50s Redditch machine. It's, as I say, it wouldn't have left the factory like that. We've got what I was told, and I'm not certain, but apparently the top yoke could be off a turbo twin, which was the two-stroke 250 twin. The forks are actually some kind of Trials, Royal Enfield Trials forks. They're the ones with the damping inside them. And I built the wheels myself. We've got a 21-inch front wheel with a 6-inch full-width hub, as found on some of the early Crusaders and the Unit Clipper 250s and so on. On the rear, we've got the big 7-inch half-width hub, as found on well, some of the 500 Redditch bullets and the twins and so on, rather than a 6-inch brake, so it's got quite a good stopper, and the front brake works pretty well for a 6-inch one. Filthy, isn't it? I need to clean it up. That is a Lucas N1 magneto, which I put on in place of I took the mag dyno off because we weren't going to run lights on it or anything. And this N1 magneto I got rewound by, overhauled entirely by Tony Cooper when we were doing the bike up. So I remember that we had the engine totally stripped, even down to splitting the flywheels and changing the big end and so on. We went through everything at the time, and we've also got this tank repainted. But it did, and still does have, a little issue with a slight oil leak at the cylinder head joint, and I think that, combined with other factors, is why I put it away a while ago and just went on to use other things. But I intend to clean the bike up, get the head off, that's no big issue to do that, and sort out whatever it needs in there to stop that, and that will clean it up considerably, and we should have a good green laney daytime use bike. The rear wheel that I also built, that's an 18-inch rim on that. It's a WM2 by 18, and the front one is a WM2 by 21. We got, obviously, it's obvious we got a single saddle on it, alloy mudguards, and at the handlebars here we got the choke or air slide, throttle, brake. This one's your advance and retard to control how much advance you've got on the ignition. Fully advanced is that way, slack cable. Fully retarded, the engine will probably stall, but just off full retard you get a nice slow steady thumpy tick over, as we saw earlier. Decompressor there to stop the engine, and obviously the clutch. And the bike, I've actually got it propped up on, that piston there is from a similar era, probably the early to mid 50s I would say, and that came out of an MWM tug engine, and it was a cast off piston. There was slight damage on it, so I was rebuilding the 6-cylinder engine that came out of, and that was a scrap piston, and I brought it home as a souvenir, and it makes a lovely stand for this bike, and very fitting that it should be such a big chunky thing, and from the same era as well. I think the two things, the bike and that piston, go together really well. And when I've taken this bike to shows in the past, I've taken the piston along to prop it up on, and it always draws a bit of attention, so that's what that's all about. And fading away there, we got that from last time I took this to a show, which was a long time ago, but hopefully I'll get it cleaned up and we might do more shows with it one day, but more importantly than that, get out and about and ride the thing and enjoy it a bit. And hopefully I'll be able to make a few videos and bring a few viewers along with me.